Hey, welcome. I'm Andrew O'Hare, executive editor of Salon. We are in the first week of impeachment hearings for Donald Trump, only the third time in the television era that Congress has actually sought to impeach a president. The cameras weren't turned on for Andrew Johnson's impeachment. No, I didn't forget about that, you history buffs. Joining me today is our senior political writer at Salon, Amanda Marcotte. Hi, Amanda.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. It's an exciting week, right?
Yeah, very exciting.
Let me start by talking very briefly about yesterday's hearing. Not yesterday, Wednesday's hearing, when we heard Assistant Deputy Secretary of State George Kent and the acting ambassador to Ukraine, Bill Taylor, testify about what sounded like a pattern of pressure from President Trump to convince the Ukrainians to play along with his various bizarre schemes. And what struck me is that the two sides were in really different worlds. Most mainstream commentators saw the testimony of Kent and Taylor as extremely damaging to the president. These guys are very well-respected mainstream diplomatic or State Department professionals. And somehow the Republicans had to try to make it look like they were, either making it up or insane or politically motivated. And I think that sets the table a little bit for what we're seeing today, possibly even more dramatic. On Friday, the testimony of the former ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch. Amanda, tell us what we've seen so far on Friday.
Well, I think what was really impressive so far to a lot of people was how brave and obviously, I feel like, slightly traumatized Yovanovitch was by her dealings with the Trump administration. She comes across, again, just like Kent, just like Taylor, as this very pulled together professional ambassador who finds herself in this cockamamie world being manipulated by a bunch of grifters and con men and Rudy Giuliani, which, I repeat myself, I suppose. But it's interesting because I think she may be even tougher to discredit than the first two witnesses were. We see Donald Trump going on Twitter and yelling a bunch of nonsense at her. He's obviously feeling threatened. There's real echoes, weirdly, of the Kavanaugh hearings here with Christine Blasey Ford showing so much, strength under pressure, even though this has obviously been very traumatic for her, and her opposition just yelling and screaming and trying to distract from the facts at hand.
I totally agree with that. I wanted to talk sort of our third point today in our list of takeaways is about what appears to be the Republican strategy in these hearings. And on the one hand, it almost seems like there's no strategy because they keep changing their story. Sometimes President Trump didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes he, what he did was okay because it's normal rough and tumble. Sometimes they float these elaborate conspiracy theories, all the crazy Rudy Giuliani stuff about the Ukrainians and CrowdStrike and whatever the hell else. And then they'll sort of roll that back. And sometimes the Ukrainians are the villains. Sometimes we love the Ukrainians. I've written about this. I'm saying that it appears their strategy was devised by Cthulhu because it's just chaotic and nihilistic. But I actually think, and I think we're in agreement here, that it is intentionally so. It's designed to confuse the public. It's really not aimed at Democrats or even the media so much as the public that either already supports Trump or doesn't quite know what to think, with the goal of just making it all too confusing to understand. Now, with that, tell us what the Democrats are doing.
So with the Democrats, I would say what they're doing is trying to be very systematic here. And they did all these closed door hearings, and then they slowly released the depositions from them, the transcripts of the depositions. And now they're kind of doing the greatest hits for the public. I think that confused a lot of media people as to why they're doing it that way, because it feels very repetitious to journalists who are following it, though perhaps maybe not to regular people who aren't following it that closely. But it shows that by releasing these transcripts early and getting out what the witnesses were going to talk about early and having the Fox News spin machine work it over, Democrats were able to figure out what Republicans' at least most robust arguments were, and they're slowly dismantling them witness by witness. And I think we saw that with Yovanovitch's testimony today. She's basically discredited the idea that Trump somehow was anti-corruption in Ukraine.
Yeah, no, I think that's interesting. And it's striking that we've started to see the Democrats mention things that actually are crimes. The term quid pro quo is a legal term that can be attached to a crime, but in certain circumstances it wouldn't be illegal to request a quid pro quo from someone. Yesterday, Nancy Pelosi used the word bribery. Today, Congressman Schiff used the term witness intimidation. Those things are actually illegal. And so are they building a case for actual, criminal charges against the president?
I mean, I think what it is like a lot of Americans don't necessarily understand that you can impeach a president for basically whatever, as long as it's considered offensive to the Constitution. Because the Constitution says high crimes and misdemeanors, and that means something very different when it was written than what it means today. But in a way, it doesn't matter because Trump keeps committing what ordinary Americans consider crimes, which are laws in our legal code that he could, if he wasn't in the White House, be imprisoned for, as his buddy Roger Stone was today.
Yes.
So in a sense, it's kind of moot. And I think that they're lucky in that they can literally point to statutes in the legal code that he has violated here with witness intimidation and extortion.
And let's check back again on how the impeachment proceedings are going, and have a great day.